So let's welcome the director and co-writer of this movie, Jay Duplass.
God damn it, you made me cry. I love that line. I'm so honored to receive that on behalf of our movie. I feel really grateful, you guys. It's a freaking miracle that you guys are here in a movie theater all together and your butts are not at home watching TikTok on your iPhones. So I applaud you for being here, and I applaud these two great guys for being champions of not just independent film, but of putting people in beautiful movie theaters so that we can share experiences together. We were just talking outside about how, you know, movies it's a little scary for movies right now, but whenever we get out and we do it, I think we never regret it, especially when we can do it together. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming out. Thank you guys for having me here at this incredible festival. I think it's one of the best festivals in the world. I was lucky enough to be here with Pink Wall in 2019 as an actor. This is my first movie I've made in 14 years, and it's my first movie I've made that I've directed by myself without my brother. I was really just trying to make a tiny little piece of art in the wake of the pandemic and the strikes. We were on the ground in Baltimore 2 weeks after the strikes ended. I know that might be a little bit of rivalry with Baltimore, but I swear to God, when you see this guy, he is a Baltimoron, but Michael Strassner I describe as a sweetheart in the body of a 1978 Chicago Bears offensive lineman. And I swear to God, I said that before I got to this awesome city that you guys live in. Michael will tell you that after at the Q&A. But thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for having us.
Stick around, Jay and I and Michael and Liz. We'll all talk after. Yep. Keep it going, ladies and gentlemen. Jay Duplass, Michael Strassner, and Liz Larsen.
Super thrilled to be here.
Not to bring anything down here, but Michael, you've been open with how the inciting incident of this film, the opening scene of this film, is from your life. And so I want to talk about taking a moment like that and using it to produce something so light and wonderful and powerful.
Yeah, that opening scene is what got me sober. I could have not been here. And it's the best that I'm here. I can't believe I'm here. There's so much, yeah, sorry. I'm so grateful that one of the darkest moments in my life has been able to be one of the most beautiful things in the world that I could have ever created with these beautiful people, and turning it into beautiful art, like taking that and if you're struggling, it gets a ton better, clearly. You can make a movie one day. And turn it into comedy, you know? I mean, truly, like, when I started to share my story in the rooms of recovery, you know, and I shared the line, you know, I was holding a little bit of holiday weight, and I heard people laugh about it, like, it made me, like, not take it so, like, you know, because I come from sketch comedy. I come from that background, you know, that's what we came together and wrote. We pulled from all of our lives a little bit. So this is very much a collaborative experience. And yeah, I'm so happy that this movie it's the coolest thing in the world to me. I'm in love with it, and I'm so happy I got to hear it from you guys.
So, Jay, how do you hear that story? Is this one of the few good things to come out of social media? That's what I understand. Like, you guys communicated over Instagram, right?
Yes, I met Michael, like all important relationships start today online.
Plenty of fish.
He was dancing half naked in a pink robe. You were imitating Buffalo Bill. I thought to myself, that's a fucking movie star right there. And I started following him. He messaged me. I didn't respond for 6 months because I'm 52 years old and I don't know how to use social media properly. But we eventually pulled it together and found Liz and told this, this story that is, like we said, the origin story is definitely based on Michael, and I think we all know that the moral of the story is maybe it's not the worst thing to be holding a little bit of holiday weight.
Very true.
And then, Liz, how do you get involved, and how did you get attached to this? What drew you to it?
It drew itself to me. Jay had come and seen me in a musical version of a series that he was in called Transparent. And we'd done a musical version in Los Angeles. And he saw it, and then 8 months later, he texted me. He texted me and said, do you want to have lunch? And I said, yeah. So we had lunch and we talked about absolutely nothing, not the business, nothing. And then at the end of the lunch, he said, so let's make a movie. And I was like, okay. And I went home and I said to my husband, I will never hear from this guy again. But 3 weeks later, there we were in Baltimore doing it.
Freezing our asses off.
Yeah.
Michael, you mentioned the collaborative process, and you can all answer this. Like, it's a movie that's so built on the idea of improvisation, but how much of it is improvised? How do you collaborate on a project like this?
Well, he said the same thing to me as well. He called me in May, and he said, well, I'm going to track back a little bit. I took him out to breakfast in December of 2022 to thank him for helping me with the short film. And at the end of that breakfast, I wrote on my manifestations, because I've been doing it ever since I got sober. Number 2 was shoot a movie with Jay Duplass. Jay hadn't directed a movie in 13 years at that time, so I was shooting high. And in May, he emailed me and he was like, hey, do you have a minute to talk? And I was like, yeah, call me right now. And he called me and he was like, I want to shoot a movie and I want to back in someone's life, and you're the first person to mind. You want to do it? And I was like, yeah, I got nothing going on. Yeah, let's shoot a movie. That sounds good. When do you want to do it? You want to do it now? And then we just met. I told him a little bit more stories. I showed up to his house shirtless because I don't have AC in my car, and I think at that point he was like, did I pick the right guy? This guy seems really crazy.
I just heard a lot of commotion outside of my house. There was a small Jetta and a large shirtless man trying to get out of it.
It's like, hey, sorry, can you give me 5? It was a hot day, and
That's really my only regret about this movie is that we shot it at Christmas time, and we didn't get to have Michael perform Cliff getting in and out of his car without a shirt on.
Yeah. It's leather seats, and it's just every shirt that I have, it just ends up being soaked on the back. So I wanted to make a good impression with Jay. It ended up, I think he thought he heard a bunch of raccoons outside, and it was just me.
It was just a Neanderthal driving an automotive vehicle.
Exactly.
Nothing to be alarmed about.
Yes. So the collaborative process was,
Very serious endeavor.
Yeah. It was 2 artists that really dove into a script.
We wanted to create a movie that people needed to see.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I make a movie, I want people to walk away from the theater, and I don't want them to be excited. I want them to tell other people, you need to see this movie, it's important.
Yes, exactly.
That's how we start.
Yes. But it was just more or less telling stories and kind of, telling him how I got sober, and that's kind of the genesis of this whole thing. And then my sketch comedy background, like testing for SNL and doing those type of things and not having it work out. And so that kind of all got trickled in there.
But 10 minutes later, to answer your question, we do improvise.
Sorry, yeah.
We did write a very full script, and we would continue to rewrite as we were shooting, and we did improvise a little bit, but I kind of refer to the improvisation that I use as like goal-based improvisation, where the characters know what they're trying to achieve, they have dialogue if they want to use it, it keeps everybody on their toes, but it's not like straight comedy improv, which is like you kind of shoot the scene and you're like, okay, let's do alts for this joke. We did zero of that. And if anything, we took a lot of pressure off of the jokes because we just wanted to, people to invest in the characters.
I thought it was interesting in Austin that you said, though, that the comedy show scene was actually like the least improvised because it required so many beats to get hit with, Liz wants to talk about that scene.
No, it's just we had to reshoot it. Because we had filmed it and we reshot it in about 101-degree weather.
Mm-hmm.
It was the opposite. It was opposite day.
Yep.
And, but I remember Jay calling me and saying, now I know what the scene's about. We have to do it again. And you were so right. It was not about what it is about, so.
Yeah.
We figured it out after we had shot it, or as we were shooting it, right?
Yeah.
Well, it took me a while. I mean, it was like, we got in the edit, and we had originally shot a scene where, I mean, inside baseball on screenwriting, it's an incredibly difficult scene to pull off just because, it's actually about the plot that's happening between them, and what we eventually figured out is that, Cliff saved, Dee Dee at her ex's house, and she needed to save him. At his, the most scary thing for him. And, but the widget of exactly what that skit was gonna be, trying to make sure that the skit was actually...
Jay, sketch. We're in Chicago. Sketch comedy. Jesus.
Thank you.
Right?
You guys can beat the shit out of me in the alley out there when we're done.
Yeah.
It's a sketch.
Yes.
But just like, what is the plot of this sketch? Also, it needs to be funny. Also, Dee Dee needs to save him. Also, the sketch needs to become something else that is invented in that moment so that it could be something brand new and something that would convince Cliff that, because honestly, the genesis of the movie to me in getting to know Michael really was, when Michael got sober, and I have other friends who have gone through this, the real question is will I ever be funny again? Michael, for a long time, was kind of known as the Chris Farley of the Groundlings. He was in the main company at Groundlings, and he was the guy who would save your sketch. If your sketch was dying, Michael would take his clothes off and fall on the ground, and everything would be great. So, just that genesis of that idea of, if I get sober, will I ever be funny again?
Yeah.
And let's talk about how important Baltimore is and how you use it, the spaces that you're in and the streets, the public spaces that you're on. Talk about that as a character in the film, anyone.
Well, the beginning of that story is that to shoot the entire movie, the permit to shoot the entire movie on the streets of Baltimore was $45.
Right. Whole shoot.
So, look, you've known me a long time, and just to pull this stuff off, there's some brass tacks of independent filmmaking that has to be in place, and when Michael told me that, I was like, let's go. Yeah. And in terms of Baltimore, Michael led, and Michael's best friend, David Bonnet, who also produced it, we did not pay for one single location.
We paid for one, and it was the Baltimore Improv Group. It was Big. Baltimore Improv Group, and we only used them because we were going to use them for a location, but we ended up not using that location, so we used them for a holding area for our actors that day. So that's the only one we paid for.
Everything else was we just started getting into it. I was like, Michael, what do you have access to? And, he
And
was-
what don't you have access
and
to?
what don't you have access to? Because we'll get access to that.
Truly.
There was that
No, 'cause the-
street, that street on this.
34th Street.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
34th Street. There's this famous street in Baltimore where.
They just saw it, so yeah.
Trying to say something nice about the city of Baltimore. No, apparently the city of Baltimore pays the electric bill for everybody on that street, on 34th Street, so that they can put up all these Christmas lights.
Yes, from
And that-
Thanksgiving to New Year's Day.
Right.
And
so
luckily, the street was blocked off for foot traffic.
just foot traffic.
And guess who had a $45 permit to shoot anywhere the hell they wanted?
So there we are doing this walk and talk, and we're surrounded by like just people
Yeah.
looking at the lights. I mean, my favorite thing, you didn't include it, but my favorite thing was we're doing this walk and talk, and behind us are two little kids going like this, do, 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 like walking behind us. You remember that? You
Oh,
cut
I
it.
remember. It was a blast for me. I loved it.
Yeah, and also like
I love them.
we didn't have a crab boat, and Jay's like, can we get a crab boat? And Dave's like, let me see if we can get a crab boat. And we got a crab boat.
And Dave's father owned a bunch of tow lots, and we're like, okay, we're gonna do a heist scene at a tow lot to retrieve a $3,200 Cadillac.
Yeah.
I think we can take a couple questions from the audience. If anyone's got one, raise your hand and someone will come to you with a microphone. While that's happening, real quickly as we can do it. I was interested in, we talked about independent film and the struggle of that and how this festival helps with that. But how do people in this audience help with independent film next week? Like when we're not here, what can people do to help the indie film scene?
I mean, I think there's so much you can do, but if you love it, just show up for it. And that I'm talking to myself too, because I get lazy. I don't want to go out on the weekends and risk seeing a movie and it might not be great or whatever it may be. But it's what I was saying in the intro is just like, I think just showing up for it. You guys showing up here is wonderful. Supporting this beautiful movie theater, supporting all the films that are coming here this week. But, I mean, there's so much you can do. You can get on Kickstarter and help kids make movies that, would never be able to make them otherwise. I don't know. I don't know how you guys are, but TV's great. YouTube is great, but movies are movies and nothing will ever replace it.
100%.
All right.
We've got a guest question. Your left-hand side at the middle of the room.
Loved the movie.
Great question.
Great question.
My question are for the actors, and I guess the director can be joined. Was there any sort of like chemistry read at all? I presume as the director, you knew each of these actors individually and you probably had a sense, but I'm just curious because like, man, the chemistry on that screen it's overwhelming. I loved it.
She's the best.
These two were holding hands in the back of the movie theater while you guys were watching
We were.
them dance.
Like a mother
just so
and
you
son.
know.
Yes. A mother and son kiss in a movie.
That's you porn, not YouTube. Sorry.
There was one, I mean, Jay and I went up to, and Dave went up to New York, 3 days before Liz had already gotten the part, but I think you just wanted.
Yeah, it wasn't a chemistry
Yeah.
read. I just wanted Liz to meet Michael
Yes,
before we
exactly.
did this. Honestly, you guys, we were on the ground 2 weeks after the strikes ended. It was really like a desperate desire to get back to making stuff, and everybody in Baltimore was just so thrilled to make something, and we needed to make this movie during the Christmas season. We never could have afforded to put all those lights up. So I just had to trust my instincts. I loved Michael, I loved Liz. They seemed like they were cut from the same cloth. They hated each other's guts every day on set.
Yeah. No, I fell in love with Liz right when I met her, and I felt so comfortable in the car with her, in every room with her, literally, it was really just me and her on set. So, and Olivia came in here and there, but for the most part, in holding, which was either the Mercedes or Cadillac, whichever one we weren't using, we just talk, and it was like the most amazing 3 weeks getting to work with her, and you know, like we still message each other all the time, and yeah, hold each other's hand in the back of a theater when no one's watching. We thought.
Okay, I think we have time for one more, I'm afraid, only one more.
Right over here in the middle.
Hi, that was so much fun. This might be a silly question, but did you shoot the film chronologically? You spoke a lot about, you know, the improvisation along the way and improv being a core aspect of it. Was there jokes that you had to maintain through different shots? I'm just curious how that worked.
We did shoot as chronologically as we could, which was probably more than your average movie, but we were definitely all over the place as well. And, you know, we were just keeping our eyes open for these return jokes. The final joke of the film was actually like written by our editor, Jay Duplass, who's one of the greatest editors that's living today, about, you know, dental hygienist Rebecca. I got one? I've never gotten one. We got a lot of luck. We got lucky on a lot of rules of three in this, but you know, Michael and I were constantly talking before and after set, driving the set together. You know, just constantly minding our P's and Q's and just trying to get the most out of everything that we had at our disposal. And yeah, it's just trying to stay present and honor the movie and what it wanted to be.
All right, this movie won the Audience Award at South by. IFC just picked it up. It is taking off. Tell your friends to see it. And thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so very much. It's an honor.
Thank you, Brian.